as you can see, this is a mud brick building. So when we built this building in 1989, it was completely built from earth, which was on this property. So back in 1989, it only cost $30,000 to construct this whole house. All the mud bricks were made on the property themselves. We just reinforced them with some sand, some aggregate, and with a little bit of cement just to stabilize it. And then when I moved in here, we finished renovating. So I've covered it with Grimes paint, which is an earth paint from a company in research, Grimes. And basically we've just tried to finish it and keep the natural theme. So it's an actual eco building. So we're surrounded by earth. There's no electromagnetic field because we're off grid. We're just relying on solar power for our fridge, our lights, our sound system, our computers. So basically, we're living as close to nature as we can. Everything is earth-based. You feel very peaceful. There's a natural solitude and a natural peaceful ambience which is created within the building. So it's a beautiful earth building, and we just live here in as a natural way as we can. So the earth floors, the building has a natural compressed earth floor. So when I moved in order to stabilize the floor, because it was a little dusty from the earth, we put in probably about a 1-inch thick mix of cow dung, sand and earth. And then once the cow dung, the sand and the earth were down, we let it dry for a month, and then we coated it with linseed oil. And the linseed oil stabilizes it, holds it all together, and now we've got a natural earth floor. So especially in summertime when you're walking around the house barefoot, you feel like you're just working naturally on earth. So it gives a beautiful, once again, another natural element to the house, and it completely ties in with the earth and the wood in the roof, and we've tried to use natural elements as much as we can. So this is the organic garden which we have behind the eco house. We're using a wicking system. We've filled them up with aggregate, then put like a support mat to break up the aggregate and the dirt. Then we fill them with compost, with soil, and with lots of cow manure. Create like a nice base. And then the water, which is filled in to halfway, then that capillitates up into the vegetables. So this is a very conservative way of using water. We just put the water down the pipe, fills up about half of the system, and then you just plant your different varieties of vegetables. We've got about 20 different varieties of vegetables here every summer. And then each vegetable will just pull the water up as it needs, and we only have to fill this up once a week. So it's a good way of saving water, especially when we get into summer and there's not a lot of rain around. And we can have more than enough here for our family, all of our friends, our extended family. Basically everyone lives on this harvest when it's going well. Okay, so we're harvesting our own water here. So we have 2 water tanks here which supplies enough for the family. During the winter months, this winter we've had a lot of rainfall because we're down here in the Otways. So because there's been a lot of rainfall, the tanks are totally full at the moment. And these 2 tanks should last us over the whole of summer, leading into next April when the rain should come again. So we harvest all of our own water. We're just trying to live as naturally as we can, simply as we can, and to just rely on the bounty of the earth, basically. We have a solar pump which goes up to our header tank, which is just above me. So twice a week when the tank goes down from our water use, then the solar pump kicks in automatically, just pulls the water up, and then the water gravity feeds from the header tank back into the building. So in that way, we're just living on solar power, we're living on the water we're harvesting, and in this way we're not polluting the earth with a necessity or a need to rely on fossil fuels, on petroleum and artificial means of energy. So every year we're harvesting probably about 35 tons of wood biannually. So it means every 6 months we just cut a whole ton of wood, all from our own property. we only have to take down per year around about 50 medium-sized trees. And as you can see, there's hundreds and thousands of saplings which are regenerating all over the property. So it's a completely sustainable way of working with nature's energy. So basically, the wood, which we rely on in the eco house, we're using it to run our fire. So 6 months a year, from the wetback, which is going into the fireplace, the wood is heating the hot water, which is in a hot water storage tank, which is kept inside the house. And in that way we have, from the sun's energy in the summer and from the wood's energy in the winter, 365 days a year, we have hot water. We're also cooking during the winter months on the fire. So the fire's going, it's heating the house, it's heating the hot water. We then cook on it. It also dries our washing. We have a natural washing system, or a pulley system, where we lift up and we put the clothes on a rack, and they just naturally dry within 2 hours. So just on the wood, which we're harvesting from our own land, we're able to cook 6 months a year. We're able to heat our hot water 6 months a year. We're able to dry our clothes, so we don't need electricity because we're totally off-grid. The house is totally off-grid. And also we're basically keeping the house warm 6 months of the year. So just by natural production and just by living on the land, we're showing a true example of sustainable living. Okay, so basically the house is solar passive. So it means all the windows on the house, the majority of them, are facing towards the north. So it means that on June the 21st, the sun gets to its lowest point in the north, down here in the southern hemisphere, and all the light of the sun is streaming into the building. So we're using the sun's energy in a solar passive design to keep the house naturally warm. Now the sun's going up, and then on December the 21st, it'll get right up above the house. No sun will actually enter directly into the building, and because of the high roofs and the mud brick design, it stays always cool within the building. So even on a 42 degree day, when it's 42 degrees out here, inside the highest the temperature will get was 27, and it always stays in a moderate cool way. So we don't need to use grid power for air conditioners and coolers and fans. We just naturally live like this. Just open up the house, let the breeze go through, and naturally the whole place stays cool all year round. So it's warm in the winter, it's cool in the summer. We're just using the earth's energy, the sun's energy, living naturally and living close to nature.